Hello, everyone, and welcome to Angelic Guidance for Daily Living. I am Carolyn McGee, your co-host, here with Pat Rainville.
Hello.
And as we have for the last couple of months, we want to talk to you about ways that you can utilize divine guidance, that angelic guidance that is available to us 24/7 in our daily lives, in our daily practice, to help us really stay in our bodies. But before we dive into our topic, I just want to say a few words about me and then introduce Pat for people who maybe do not know her. My name is Carolyn McGee. I am an angelic life coach and intuitive healer. I have lived in Ashland for many, many years and also own a pet business. Animals are a huge part of the way I stay in my body and connected to Source. How about you, Pat?
Well, you all know me. I'm Pat Rainville. I am a angel therapy practitioner, and I've been doing that work as well as energy healing work for, over a decade now. It's hard to believe it's been that long.
Isn't it crazy how time
Yeah.
it just goes so fast?
Yeah. So, with today's topic about, working with the angels to keep yourself
Present
and in your body, I've been calling them on them a lot lately because there's so much going on in the world.
Yeah, there really is.
And, for people who are very sensitive, we pick up on those energies.
And we pick up on the grief also.
Yeah.
We're actually recording this the day after the shooting in Texas at the church. And as I try not to read a lot, I try to read so that I am aware,
Exactly.
but not over into it because I don't want to take it on. It really doesn't serve me in what my purpose is, which is to try and help other people to stay grounded and focused and healing and opening up their hearts rather than closing them down. And that's something that I find is so easy to do for people. They don't really think about it, but it's like we can't handle that big emotion. The grief, the loss, the tragedy, the senselessness of it all.
Yeah.
And people pull in.
Yeah.
If you notice a lot of people, they're walking around with their shoulders curved in and they're kind of like protecting their hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And what you really want to do is open up your shoulders, almost as if you're an angel, right?
Yeah.
Bring those wings out and keep your heart open and trust that the angels are going to give you what you need. The protection you're going to need, whether it's Archangel Michael, who's the divine protector, or one of the other angels who's maybe specifically guided to protect you for a period of time.
I've been noticing a lot of that too. Sadness will just creep up out of nowhere. Also anger, and so I find it very helpful to stop and ask myself, wait a minute, is this mine?
Yeah,
or is this
that's a
something
mantra.
I'm picking up on? And
Yeah.
if you see something on the news, you're like, oh, maybe that's what it is. But there is a lot of anger, that's going on. That's why we have people, there's got to be some element of that behind shootings like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have found, for me, what my practice has been, one, I always call on the angels. And they often, as I've mentioned before, tell me to go outside or, get in something physical to get that restlessness and that excess emotion out of my body. But, I've asked them for my own protection as I go out and about and for my kids, for my work. But, and it was interesting because, I do a weekly reading on YouTube, and what came up for the beginning of the week was music. And I found myself, when I was at the gym this morning, churning out, because I found myself feeling a lot of that restless energy.
Yep.
And I was, burning it up on the treadmill, or not the treadmill, the elliptical trainer. But the song that came on, and this is one of those little divine intervention things.
I love
'cause I always
those.
ask them for help. The song that popped onto my my iPod was St. Francis's Asking to Be an Instrument of Peace.
Oh, I love that.
And it was just such a good reminder. And I knew that was from them because I was just like, I was
Right.
You know how you go into the rant
You
in
wouldn't
your head?
expect that to to pop in when you're on an exercise thing.
Exactly. And it just popped in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is your reminder to just breathe and think about what this song, because, it doesn't matter what faith you're from.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody believes in God in some form. They might have different names. There's saints of different religions.
Yeah.
And what St. Francis reminded of in that song is, we can always ask for help.
Yep.
Ask and you shall receive, including at times like these, when it's so tumultuous, to be an instrument of peace.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're all wanting to see, is more peace in the world. And so we can ask to be that instrument and follow our guidance with it. But it was reminded, because that music is so healing.
It is so healing.
And I find that a lot of times that's what, the angels will guide me to, something where I can either dance it out, or, just a song that is really heartfelt like that to me.
Right. And one of the things that I have noticed is if I don't have, if I'm not speaking, if I'm not listening to music or having something going around, I can get too much in my head.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
me too.
It's a very busy place up there. But sometimes when I'm there, I'm connected to the angels, which is awesome. And sometimes when I'm there, I'm not. And then I become the analytical and the fearful, and that is really unhealthy for me, because I get on that hamster wheel, that treadmill of, the anxiety and what should I do and how do I manage this, instead of turning it all over and asking the angels, okay, what's my next right step? What is best for me to do? Do I need to take care of myself? Do I need to reach out for somebody? One of the things that they often will guide me to is to be of service. It really helps me ground in my own energy, and also remember the bigger purpose for me, to help somebody else. So even if it's a phone call, or, letting, does somebody need a ride someplace, or, anything, ministering is a big piece of my energy. I'm a reverend. I think you are too. And are you?
No, I'm not a reverend.
Okay, mixing you up with another friend, sorry. But I am, and that energy of being of service, of being a minister, is a huge component of my energy, and it really helps me separate the ego piece and the fear piece when I get into that role of ministering. It's huge for me, but I need to be able to be out of my head to have that really clearly connect.
Yeah, and that's what that song did for me today. It was kind of like putting you back in that place where you're remembering to be, okay, I can ask to be an instrument, which is being of service.
Yes.
And I don't have to worry about the how.
Yeah.
How it comes about. And I let it kind of show up.
Yeah. Yep.
I actually had a really interesting experience since the last show that we did, where I was calling on the angels first. It's sort of a simpler everyday experience, but I realized there was a couple of things that I was really stressing about. Talk about being in your head.
Yeah.
And one of them had to do with, I was going to have to drive into Boston to bring my son to a concert. And I was really kind of stressing about that, because, despite the many times I've driven in there, I didn't know exactly, I hadn't been in there in a while. And when you haven't been in Boston for a while,
Well,
and
they've got
even
detours
if it's been months,
and
you can be detoured in 20 different directions that were different than the last time.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you go down the wrong alley, heaven forbid, you won't be able to get back. You'll get stuck down another little side maze of streets and won't be able to. Anyways, it's very frustrating. And so my thing was to call on the Archangel Raguel. Because one, I wanted to get in there in a timely way. I didn't want to have to pay a huge amount for parking. I wasn't going to, I was looking for a place to just plant myself, while the whole thing. And then I'm thinking, oh, dear God, how are we going to get out? Because there's going to be pant loads of traffic, right? But Raguel is this archangel who, he kind of oversees things. And he helps to, harmonize things. And he makes transitions and stuff, go in harmony. So anyways, we got in there, no problem, plenty of time. And, I'm driving by the big parking garages. I didn't feel drawn to go into them. And I'm going down this street. And I'm like, okay, I don't know where I'm going. But I happened to turn down a side street and then around a corner. And there was a parking lot right there. And it was like, it wasn't half the price, but it was significantly less than some of the ones I was originally looking at online. And so we opted for that one. The kids got into the concert okay. I found a place to sit at. And it was so funny, while I was sitting at this bar, having something to eat, just, I don't know, playing solitaire on my phone or what have you. I ended up, I have the apps on my phone of the angel cards.
Nice.
And I was going through this one app that I have, and I pulled the card, and it said, it was miracle healing, or miracle something. Expect a miracle, that's what it was, with Mother Mary. And I thought, oh, that's good. Well, the funny part of it was the miracle that happened was us getting out of there. Because that was the night, I don't know if you remember, there was a huge storm that came in.
Yes, I do.
And it was really like, it was starting to be, we were concerned about torrential downpours. And I'm thinking, gosh, am I going to be able to get my, is he going to be able to get out of there on time and find me? And sure enough, just as I was thinking to text him, he texts me, says, we're done. I met him outside. It took like less than 5 minutes to meet him. We got into the car right away, got out right away, and then I went down this wrong alley that was like a do not enter kind of thing, because I thought I was going in the right direction, following the thing on your phone. What do they call it?
The maps.
Yeah, the maps on your phone. But somehow, I was behind a line of people who were doing it too. And we were right around the corner, and the next thing I knew, I was on the Mass Pike coming back, and there was no traffic.
That is a miracle.
That is a miracle. I'm like, I have no idea how that happened.
Well, you followed your guidance.
Yeah. It was just the funniest thing. I had another incident that I had him oversee as well that went really well.
That's beautiful.
But this is to our point. It's like I noticed that I was really stressing about this, and I called on them, and I said, can you please intervene in this situation and help? And the whole thing ended up working out.
Yeah.
In a really
it's really powerful when we turn it over, right? You turn it over to God, you turn it over to the angels, whatever your belief system is, but it gets it out of us and allows them to intervene. Because I know we mentioned this on the show before, but we have free will. So the angels can't help us unless we ask.
Exactly.
So asking for that help, turning it over to them, and then letting go, and just fully expecting that it's going to happen rather than worrying about how it's going to happen and what we need to do to create that. And that's really when the magic happens.
Yeah, especially when you can ask them to specifically intervene
Yeah.
in situations. And
Yeah, that's wonderful. And that must have helped you stay really present when you were there, not worrying about your son and not worrying about anything else, so you could just enjoy your time when you were there. And that's what it's all about, right? Really being in our bodies.
yes, and I discovered more ways to be attached to my phone. No.
Well, that's a whole separate subject. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
We can play games on Facebook Messenger. Oh, it's funny.
That is funny.
But no, now in these times where there's just so much tumultuous energy going on, and I found even sometimes when there's a lot of overwhelming emotion around, like if I can't stop obsessing about something, I do call on the angels for that, and more so with like an act of surrender. If you ever learned about the 12 steps, I was reminded of that one day, because that first step is to really just surrender. And, angels, God, it's impossible for me in this moment. I know it's geared towards alcohol and drug addictions and things like that, but it really can be applied to anything.
Well, there's so many things we can be addicted to. People are addicted to shopping. They're addicted to anxiety and worry. They're
Drama.
Yes. So, I think that you can certainly apply that to any situation and do that active surrender. And that's active surrender. To
you know
really.
what? Angels, it's impossible for me in this moment to stop obsessing or being preoccupied with this. Can you please help me?
Yep.
And they always kind of swoop in their own way.
And I just feel like there's a shower of peace that comes over me when I do that. I feel like that literally draining out of my system and being filled with that. I see it as white light, that presence of peace and serenity. And it's really powerful.
Yeah. I even have asked them when I have that to-do list that's going through my head, and I don't know how I'm going to get it all done, or if I feel unfocused. Because you're right, it brings in that peaceful, grounding kind of energy.
Yep.
So
that's important. And one of the other ways that I do ground myself is through animals. I do a lot of work with animals, and I have found them. Animals are very present. They live in the moment, and yes, they have their karmic journeys to go on, and they've got their connections with us, with their humans. But for the most part, they're really not thinking about what the next step is. They're very present. They're very aware of what's going on, and they just want to be at peace. And they're great at breaking energy. One of my cats, when I get into that frenetic in my head. I can even be sitting at my computer working, and all of a sudden he's up on top of a shelf and he's going like this. So it distracts me, and I have to physically stand up, walk over, get him off the shelf, and then all of a sudden I realize, oh, doing it again, spending too much time in my head. I can take a couple deep breaths, ground myself, and then go back to whatever I'm doing in a much more focused manner. So it's that angelic guidance moving through my animals to get me a message, because I can pay attention to him. He's very present. He's also very loud when he's doing his little touching routine.
I heard too, that's part of their contracts with us.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yep.
thought I was listening to a thing on that. It was so powerful.
It is really powerful. And,
But-
you know, my girl cat, when I'm stressed out, I will sit. She's one of those ones that likes to spend a lot of time under the furniture versus on it. But when I sit, she will immediately come out and sit next to me. So, and again, their purr, it's very present, it's very grounding, it's soothing, it can help
It
us
is.
pull into our body. So it's a very powerful way to get back connected, to clear out all that stuff that's going through our heads and that runs through our body nonstop too.
Yeah, it does.
So that's really, and, crystals are another great way to, pull your energy. These happen to be healing crystals that we've got here today, but there's a lot of other very grounding crystals that could be used to just help people go back into their bodies. So important.
Yeah, it's very true. My animals do that to me as well. She'll come up and she'll sometimes sit right over my heart area, and
Yeah.
it forces you to pet them, which is a very grounding, calming activity.
Yeah.
So
And very opening, too, because especially with cats, that energy that they've got going in there kind of like moves energy within us to help us release and keep our hearts open. It's very hard to be closed-hearted when you've got a cat sitting on your chest.
yeah, and speaking of crystals too, I found rose quartz for me.
Yeah,
Especially if I put that over my heart.
Yeah.
That's a really, it helps you really get out of your head. And
Yeah.
It pulls you right into that
Yeah, it definitely
heart-centered
does.
space. So I know last time we did a meditation. What do you think about, do you think we should
I
do
think
another
that
one?
would be perfect, yeah, especially with everything going on, to help people stay present.
Yeah, and in a peaceful space. So, do you want to lead it on, or do you want me to, or?
You can. How's
Okay.
that, Anna?
Okay.
And I'll jump in.
All right. So let's take a couple of nice deep breaths. For those of you watching, if obviously you're maybe sitting in some comfortable space inside your home, maybe it's the middle of the night, maybe it's the middle of the day, but see if you can just find a nice comfortable position and just take a couple of nice deep grounding breaths and relax your body from it. Let your shoulders relax. Close your eyes and bring your body as much as you can into a space of calmness. Take a nice deep breath and feel your muscles relax as you exhale. And we'll call in Archangel Michael to be present with every single one of us who's watching. The angels have the ability to be with everyone simultaneously who calls on them. Archangel Michael, with his beautiful royal blue colored energy, to surround each of us, to lend us his protection, his courage, to cut the cords of fear and drama that may be attached to us, that may be draining our energy in any way. And having Archangel Michael be with us to vacuum away any kind of negative psychic debris, escorting away any negative lower energies or entities from anywhere around us, clearing out our spaces. And you may notice as we go through this that your breathing starts to deepen. And this is them helping you relax. And Ariel's energy is a very nice light pink, like the rose quartz, helping us to ground ourselves into the earth so we can be more focused, calm, and peaceful.
So with your next breath, imagine that piece of that energy from Archangel Ariel radiating from your feet, anchoring you all the way into the earth, as if you've got tap roots coming out of the bottom of your feet, going all the way down to the center of the earth. So you feel that molten lava at the center. And now on the other side, feel the energy go all the way through your body, clearing everything, your feet, your ankles, your knees, legs, hips, your back, all your internal organs, shoulders, allow them to relax even more. Your heart opening completely. Through your throat, your third eye, your crown, and then going up into a star. Imagine that star being 36 inches above your head. So you're now grounded through a line connecting basically heaven and earth. Feeling that divine female energy of the earth connected to that divine masculine energy of the star, pulsing, clearing, opening. And now with your next breath, pull both of those energies back in together until they meet in your heart. Feel the warmth, the love, the joy, the celebration of divine female and divine male energy building in your heart. Know that that lives in you at all times. That this peace, this serenity, this connectedness on all levels is available to you. That you have an angelic support team that surrounds you, literally surrounds you. Feel them standing in a circle around you, around me, around Pat, around all of us who are listening to this.
And sending those same angels out to all the people who are suffering at this time.
Yes. And allow that peace, that serenity, that love, that connection to expand even more to those of us who are listening and to the people that we care about. People we care about intimately and the people that we care about because we're human and we just care. And soak in that feeling, knowing that it is available to you at any point in time. And with our next breath, we're going to send a collective big hug and loving embrace to all of the people, especially the people in Texas, whose hearts are broken and that need our love and support.
Oh, that feels so nice.
And now with your next breath, start to come back into your body, feeling that peace and that serenity staying with you. And as you are able, open your eyes and come back to the room.
That was lovely.
Yes, what a beautiful collaboration.
Yeah.
Go Angels.
And it's a great way to start to, wrap up our show today. And maybe finishing with a couple of cards or
Yeah,
something.
I think we've got a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
So,
All right. I know last month we got Archangel Raphael with that message of breathe. And I don't know about you, but I ended up with a cold. So my breathing was affected.
I did
Heads
not. I did not.
All right, so let's see what Archangel's working with us this
Okay.
month. What are the
I
cards
got
we
a card already, so while you're still searching, I will pull it out.
And look who came out for us. The very angel we were calling upon.
Yes, and we have Angel of Support.
Ooh.
And there is so much loving energy coming through this angel, especially through her hands. I find that, energy flowing through the hands is divine energy. It could be Reiki energy. It could just be, hands-on healing energy if you belong to any of the churches that believe in that. But there is also just angel energy that comes through, and it's channeled through, and it's sending out. It's designed to be open, to be sent out to the world and to be shared. And that's just a confirmation for all of us that this is where we are, that we have the capability to heal. We can do it for our own hearts. We can do it for the world. And you don't need to be trained. All you need to do is have an open heart, and you can make a huge difference in the world.
It's a lovely card.
Yes.
We got the Archangel Ariel for us, who we were just talking about, with the message of courage. And it says, be courageous and stand up for your beliefs.
Which is so important right now.
And actually, it's really a reflection of a lot of what's going on now with all the scandals and everything that are coming out in Hollywood. People are having the courage finally to stand up and speak the truth about what's going on. And I think that's going to we're going to continue to see more of that. But she's here to help us to have the courage of our convictions and the courage to speak up when necessary.
Yeah, that is so powerful.
You know?
And I love that she's got a lion or a lioness behind her, providing that animal support that we all need too.
Yeah, that's part of her name, the Lioness of God. So she's definitely got that that courageous element going for her.
Yep. And that fierce protection
Yes.
of their family.
Yeah, she's like a female form of Archangel Michael. And I pulled a card from him, and his message was to spend more time outdoors, which is part of what helps us to get grounded, and
Great.
especially around the trees.
Yes, that is so powerful and grounding to be able to even just go up and touch a tree. Very powerful. And this card is called Vision.
Oh, clairvoyance, that keeps coming up for me a lot lately.
Yeah, it's so powerful. And look at the way she's got her hands. Again. Right
Yeah.
on her
Oh,
chest.
yeah, right, yeah, like
Right on her
exactly what
chest.
you were talking about.
Exactly what I'm talking about. So you can even take your own heart energy and send it out to the world. It's so simple. Keep that open, send it out, be the healing that you need and that all of us need
Yeah,
in the
and
world.
visualize peace.
Visualize
You know,
peace.
Peace and healing going
Yeah,
out to people.
absolutely. Very, very powerful.
So, it
Yay.
was lovely to spend a half an hour with you and with you.
Yes, with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you and spending time with you again next month. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.